Keep It Thorough Thursdays. This week on Friday, episode 40, big episode.
41, bro. 41.
What we're gonna be talking about is the importance of reputation, right? And y'all here on Keep It Thorough all the time. We talk about the importance of your brand, and when we say brand, we're not talking about business. We're talking about your own personal brand and like how you represent yourself, right? Like really kind of thinking of yourself as a business, right? Thinking of yourself in a much broader perspective, right? So owning your personal brand reputation and the importance of your reputation and what that says about you, how it affects you, how other people perceive you. All of those good things, right? So it's your boy E Double.
Yeah. What's up, good people? Cedric Lavelle, and let me correct Eric. This is actually episode 41.
Oh, okay, well you didn't update it in the PowerPoint when you was doing all your other stuff.
Nah, fam. That wasn't me. I didn't do that. You right. I didn't update it. You right.
So I only know 1 through 10 in Spanish. So I don't know how to say 40. So episode 41. You know what I'm saying?
That's totally wrong, but
that's episode 41.
Okay, all right. Whatever works for you, brother. It's all good. I'll let you have it. Anyway, yeah, episode 41. Keep It Thorough Friday. And man, just piggyback off of what Eric was just saying. Anytime we're talking about brand, it's beyond professional. We're looking at personal. Sometimes we're even looking at physical. And I classify brand in 3 ways. I look at personal, professional, and physical, because you have an identity behind each one of those things that represents who you are, what your principles are, what your standards are, the foundation that you stand on. So it's important and imperative to build it in all 3 areas: personally, professionally, and physically, because all of them translate at the end of the day. When you talk about your professional brand, some of the characteristics and attributes of your professional brand carry over into personal brand, and from personal brand to physical brand. So really just being mindful of providing yourself with the best possible solutions to be built in every area. But on this particular live, we're definitely going to talk about your personal brand reputation rather, and then how to take ownership of it.
Yeah, hey, so getting right into it, right? First little segment, taking things personal. Your rep is how you remember. So just I guess really just hop right off into it. Said taking things personal. What is your reputation?
So obviously with the idea of taking things personal, it's really just a play on how you should feel when it comes to your personal brand. Like, you should really, obviously we say owning it, but really take ownership of it. And the opinions and how people perceive you and who you are, not necessarily should matter from the standpoint of, thoughts and opinions should get to you, but more so just the expectation that you have of yourself and the standards that you set for yourself. What's up, Trey? The standards that you set for yourself and how you want to take those things personal. It's like, no, this is my character. This is who I am. These are the principles that I stand on. This is the foundation that I've been built on. This is my truest self. So your thoughts and opinions about me are inaccurate, and I take that personal because I know what I'm building. I know what I'm creating. I know who I am.
Or
go ahead, bro.
Another viewpoint on it, right? Whether they feel a way or not about the situation, if your expectation for yourself is better and that you should have acted in a different way, you know what I mean? Like, right. You should feel a way, right? Whether they felt a way or not, whether it had a negative impact on them or not, if you know that that's not how you normally move and the expectation you have for yourself, then that should bother you, right?
Absolutely. And that goes into that as well too. And so, man, it's really, as it says, that your rep is how you're remembered. People remember you based on obviously what you say and what you do, right? And it doesn't have to be someone that you've interacted with on multiple occasions. This can be an instance of where, you know, you just made an impression on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So really making certain that you're being cognizant of the approach that you take. You know what I'm saying? The energy that you give off, the vibes that you give, and just how that person, how you want that person to remember you in that moment, right? And then continuously building off on habits where you're consistently giving the same energy, you're giving the same authenticity, you know what I'm saying? You building on the same characteristics, building on the same type of integrity, and that's what builds your reputation over time, right? Because then it gets to a point where they say, oh man, that's a guy of good character. That's a guy of great integrity. That's a guy of honesty. Man, he's always candid. Like, he's always trustworthy. Those things
Yeah.
like that.
I want to even I want to challenge that a little bit, right?
Go for it, bro.
I seen somewhere or heard, and I'm sure once I say this, you're gonna be familiar with the saying too. But they say that people in the long run don't remember what you said to them or what you did, but instead how you made them feel.
How you make them feel? Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's accurate too. Yeah.
Which is really kind of a play on words, right? Because what you do or what you say will have an impact on how they feel, but they remember either that negative feeling
right,
or that positive
right,
feeling, right?
I think the saying goes, people may not always remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah. However, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, but no. That's accurate too.
But I think that leads into the point that you're making, though, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
that's part of your reputation, right? How you remember, right? If you always an asshole, you always trying to get over on people, you always doing stuff, that's going to be your reputation, you know? And then word of mouth travels fast. So if you are in business and do business, then people aren't going to work with you because they're going to get that, or even if it's not business, right? Say you need something. Say you, I don't know, you moving and you need some people to help you move. You know, ain't nobody going to want to help you. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's like he don't never pay us, or he don't never offer food.
He don't never help. He never help.
He don't never help. He just watches. Yeah. So all those things, you know what I'm saying? And you build that reputation, your actions, what you saying. But like you just said, man, like, people they start to feel away. You know what I'm saying? The emotions get involved. It's like, God dang, like, bro, I'm doing you a solid, but I feel like you ain't carrying your end of the bargain. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, why am I here? Why am I helping you?
Yeah.
You know, and so like we were saying, man, it's really taking that personal. You know what I'm saying? And really doing a assessment of yourself and who you are and what you stand for and just the perception that you give off. You know what I'm saying? And really feeling that, hey, I have to make certain that the vibes that I'm giving is what I want people to feel, how I want to be remembered, and how people take that, right? And so 3 quick things that you want to know when it comes to owning your personal brand reputation. So 1, take pride in what you represent, right? So whether it's you being a representative of your company or being a representation of your family, take pride in that. You know what I'm saying? When you leave out your door every morning, understand who you represent. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's from personal, professional, spiritual, whatever the case may be, understand that you are a representation of something and someone, right? And if you take that and you value that, you want to make certain that you're doing what's necessary outside as you're interacting to be the best representation that you can be, because that goes into your reputation, right? The next thing would be be intentional with your actions. You are a representative of your legacy, and that's big. That's important. Your legacy. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to leave a legacy, like, you want that legacy to be impactful. You want that legacy to be influential, right? You want people to speak highly of you whenever they're saying your name, right? Because if especially if you got kids, and you know this, like, if you got kids and your kids are speaking with somebody, you want people to say, oh man, your dad was a great dude. Like, your dad was a person that stood on his word. You know what I'm saying? You want to take that personal. I feel like Jordan on The Last Dance, when he said something like, and I took that personal. I don't know if you saw that. That was The Last Dance reference.
I watched it. I ain't gonna front. I don't remember that moment.
You gotta go look it up.
You
Yeah,
said
the
what?
second one is be intentional with your actions,
Yeah.
right? With everything that you do, be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're being intentional with what you're doing, I feel like you're being mindful on how you're going about doing your business, how you're going about interacting with people, how you
And
go
I,
about
I think
engaging with people.
I think that's important too about your and always forget how you word this, man. Your
Your purpose statement.
your purpose statement, right? I don't
Yeah.
know why I forget. Like I know what it is, but I
Nah,
forget.
for sure.
What's your purpose statement, right? Because I think it's extremely important to be intentional with your actions and be decisive and calculated and not just out here doing stuff. Like if you're getting involved in a business venture or doing something that's taking up a lot of your time or your money, and then you can't really articulate why you're doing it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you should be able to articulate clearly why this is taking up so much of your time or why you're, you know what I mean? So
Right.
you should be very intentional with your actions. Like that's one of way, which we're not talking about productivity here necessarily, but that's one way of, you know, increasing your productivity like tenfold by
Right.
being intentional with your actions and playing. But yeah,
Yeah, it creates
my
that
bad.
alignment. And then the last
Yeah.
one is don't compromise what's right. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big one as well too, because many people can get themselves in situations where they compromise. They compromise their integrity. You know what I'm saying? They compromise, you know, who they are as a person, just based off of
Jason.
circumstance, based off circumstance. You good, bro? Based off of circumstance and situations, right? And so, anytime that you're going about doing your day to day, it's always important to be aware of the individuals that you're engaging with, or be aware of the company that you keep, or the people that you surround yourself with, or the environment that you put yourself in. That way you don't have to compromise doing what's right. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can get yourself into a situation where it's like, you know what? I'm not even supposed to be here. I know this ain't right, but I got to do this because this is just the setting that I'm operating in. And that also just goes into being intentional, because it's like if you were being intentional, you wouldn't intentionally put yourself into a situation where it's like, I got to compromise who I am as a person. I got to compromise my character and the reputation that I'm looking to build. So, you know what I'm saying? Just always be certain of that as well too. Don't compromise doing what's right.
Hey, the last thing I want to say on this before we go to the next segment, right, is to go back to the point about, you know, caring what people think or not caring what people think or whatever your thought process is on that. I think a very dangerous place to be is like, I am how I am, and you know, take it or leave it, accept it or leave it type attitude. You know what I mean? And not a mindset or an attitude of like growth and being
Growth.
open,
Yeah.
right? Like, and to go back to the point I made earlier, like I say I don't care what people think about me, but not because I'm like, you know, fuck them or whatever. It's because I have a very high expectation for myself, right?
Right.
And I hold myself to a high standard, and I don't feel like nobody else's standard or expectation is gonna surpass what I have for myself. So that's
Absolutely.
why it's like, you know, whatever, right? Like I'm very hard on myself when another person may not be hard on me, right?
Yeah.
They may be like, oh no, that's you did good, bro. Like you tripping, you killed it. Like nah, bro. Like
Nah, bro. I got to do
I
better.
know what I'm capable of and what I could have did. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like, you know, that's cool that you feel that way, but so I want to just kind of make sure that difference in perspective is
It's always it's contextualizing. You know, the
yeah,
context
right.
of it's
So
different.
like, don't be a person like, oh, fuck what people think, and then you just reckless and you don't
Right.
have high standards or care about your rep. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna say that, make sure you have a very high expectation and level for self. You know what
Right.
I mean? But I think it's just important to speak on that. But
Absolutely.
so moving on, right? Paying the price. Obviously, with your reputation, and we talk about like how important it is, and things like that. But what can negatively affect it, right? What can you know cause issues or, you know, put a chink in the armor, so to speak, right? Like make you less favorable, you know, take negative points away from your reputation score, right? I'm gonna list out like five things and talk about them a little bit. So the first one is associating with the wrong group of people, right? So this one I think to a certain extent speaks to itself, right? But I'm sure we all have friends or family, relatives, you know, whatever the case may be, where this other group may also be friend, family, relatives, whatever the case may be, but they some knuckleheads and they never really up to nothing good, right? And this other particular person may, you know, be on the right path, may have a good job, whatever the case may be, and then they just fall victim to, you know, whatever the case may be, right?
Wrong place, wrong time.
I'm not one to really believe in peer pressure. I feel like you make your own decisions, but under certain situations, your judgment could be cloudy. Let's just say that, and you may make, you know, bad decisions. But associating with the wrong group of people, right? So now it's like, damn, like he was cool, but once he started dealing with them, like he, you know what I mean, he ain't really himself. You know what I mean? He's different. You know what I mean? And that can negatively affect your reputation.
I'm gonna get up touch on that some real quick too. I just recently looked at not a live, but I guess it was podcast, YouTube or whatever, and it was Kevin Hart on Drink Champs, and he was talking about just an ordeal that he had when he was on Clubhouse and interacting with people based off of some opinions that they had about him and him not being funny and all these other things, right? And so he made the he basically was speaking about how, you know, how over time he's changed, right?
Yeah.
And just some of the brand deals and some of the partnerships that he's been able to make has been based off of the transition that he's went through as an entertainer, as a person, and just the environment that he puts himself in.
Just as a man, just all around.
Right. And so when you take that into consideration, it's like, you know, as you progress and as you evolve in life, you're going to change. Like your interests should change. Like the things that
and there's this big stigma, you know, that change is bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like why? Like no,
like,
you
right,
should be growing, changing, evolving. You should be.
You should be doing all those things. But you should be confident enough, you know what I'm saying, in your transition and in your progress to be like, you know what? You're stupid. I don't have to listen to what you're saying. And that goes back to what your thoughts and your opinions don't really matter, the context. I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I know that the way that I'm moving right now is going to set me up for better opportunities in the future. So no, I don't want to go hang out at the club and do X, Y, and Z. Or no, I don't want to do this that we used to do 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I ain't on that no more. Like I'm changing now. I'm building a better reputation in a better brand of who I am and who I want to be, you know what I'm saying, represented, right? And so it's always interesting how when individuals may change and not want to be around the same group of people, how sometimes people in those groups would be like, oh, you whack, bro. You think you better than me. Oh, why you don't do X, Y, and Z? Not thinking from a growth standpoint, like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Like, oh, okay, you building a brand, so you don't want to be mixed in with this group of people. Oh, you moving in this direction, and you got kids, and you want to be the example to where your kids see you as like, okay, daddy wasn't doing X, Y, and Z, so I'm not going to do this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the biggest things, man. Be aware of the people that you surround yourself with and that who you affiliated with. And make certain, like you were talking about the purpose statement, make certain these people align with your purpose statement. Like what you want for your life, what your ambitions are, what your desires are. That way you can, you know what I'm saying, get rid of the riffraff or the individuals that slow down your progress. That way you can be your best self. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 1,000%, bro. I agree with every word you said. So next on the list is not following through on your word, right? So just having integrity, right? You know, to me, I say this all the time, especially when I'm dealing with another man, right? You know, they say all you have in this world is your word and your balls, right?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with another man, your balls don't mean nothing. It's all about your word. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way with me. I cannot tolerate or deal with people who are not trustworthy. Like I cannot do it. Like
That'd be the case.
it's like nothing frustrates me more than a person who says they're gonna do something and then like don't do it. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? What did she say? You have to be okay with traveling the road alone. So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly,
There's
bro.
a reason that they say it's lonely at the top, right? Because it's because you got to make a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of people aren't willing to make those sacrifices with you, and then you're just going to create distance. And it's not that you're a bad person, you know what I mean? You just wanted more than
You're a building person. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
You're building yourself, and so it's like, yeah, I can't get down with that no more.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm
to
saying?
go back to the point, right? Like not following through on your word, that can severely impact your reputation, right? Like if you're just not a trustworthy person, if a person can't count on you for stuff,
The
then
relationship is done, really.
it's severed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People aren't even really going to deal with you, and if they do, it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, well, if you do, he do. If you don't, he don't. Like
There's
whatever.
no expectation.
Yeah, exactly. Very low expectation. You know what I mean? If any, right? Like you said, no expectation.
I love the view up there too.
Yeah, hey, it's real talk. Real talk. It's peace and quiet too. Having next on the list is having no accountability, right? And this just goes to blaming others, right? Everything is everybody else's fault. You never take accountability. People get tired of that. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? People really
yeah,
get
bro.
tired of like, and you know, because at the end of the day, it's like take a step back and look at yourself. What's the common denominator here? You know what I'm saying? You got issues with all of these different people, but you the common denominator. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? Like everybody else ain't wrong.
right.
You know what I mean?
It's like everybody saying the same thing
right,
about this one thing, and it's you.
right,
You know
right.
what I'm
So
saying?
it's like you have to have accountability, man, and accountability is big in so many different areas. But when it comes to your reputation, it's definitely important as well. Again, you know, word travels, right? You know, if you're doing things, and you know, I'm trying to think of an example, and I'm kind of drawing a blank on one, but if you know word travels that you don't take no accountability, you know, you always finger pointing, you always blaming somebody else, you always finding an excuse, you like a pessimist, you know, just negative energy. People don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
people will gravitate
absolutely.
away from that. And again, won't want to deal with you. It'll negatively affect your reputation. Next on the list is only doing the bare minimum, right? And what this is just not being, just kind of being lazy, right? Just sticking to the status quo. Like, so let's talk about it in a personal situation. It's like a friend, right? if if said is having a bachelor party, which he's already married, but let's rewind. If said is having a bachelor party, he asked me to be his best man, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't really put no thought into it. I don't really plan it. You know what I mean? I kind of just do something on a whim. We going to this place. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, well, bro, like, you wanted me to be your best man. I gave you a bachelor party, but it's like, yeah,
Right.
bro, you didn't really put no thought into it, though. Like,
Right.
you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, this is a big deal to me. Like, this is important to me. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, and you feel that it's cool because you did something. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's what I kind of mean by only doing the bare
Bare
minimum. You're
minimum.
not doing
Just
above and
a
beyond.
lack of effort.
A lack of effort, and you don't want to be known. You don't want it to be your reputation that you only do the bare minimum. That
Yeah.
you don't never, you know, put your all into nothing. That you're not passionate. You know
It's
what I mean?
almost like in sports. Like I remember when I used to play football, and you know we'll watch a film session, right? And I played on defense, and so if the offensive player is running and the defensive player is not running to the ball, like you're giving a half-ass effort, it's gonna show up on film. Coach gonna look at you like, hey man, why he moving faster than you are? Like why you jogging to the plate? Where's your effort at? Why you not speeding over there, running full speed to get in on the play? You know what I'm saying? And so in situations like that, when you translate it into like your day-to-day life, it's like doing the bare minimum and giving a minimal amount of effort it's not going to get you to your goals any faster, or
No,
it's not gonna build your reputation up any faster.
it's actually
It's
it's
gonna
doing the opposite. It's hindering.
it's gonna hinder you. It's gonna hinder you. And so if you're not giving a maximal amount of effort in whatever it is that you're putting your thoughts and your physical capabilities into, you're not going to see the progress that you're looking for.
And
Right?
just being very specific, right? You just don't want your reputation to be known as you a half-asser.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't want your reputation to be like that you don't get things done. You know what I mean? That's terrible. That's at least from my perspective, and I'm
Mine
sure
too.
Ted agrees. Like
Yeah.
that's just not something that I want, right? And then last but not least, being unfair or dishonest, and this just goes to about how you treat people. You know what I mean? Like you never know when you're gonna need somebody, right? So whether you are the most paid person in the room or the poorest person in the room, you should treat everybody with the same level of respect. You know what I'm saying? And just being unfair and dishonest, trying to get over on people, things like that. It's terrible for your reputation. You don't want to be known as like the con artist or the slick one. I'm sure everybody on this live and that watched this has somebody in their family, you know, that's known for being the slickster. You know what I mean? Always trying to get over, whether it's the uncle or the, you know what I mean? Somebody is just always trying to get over. And again, that's their reputation, and that's terrible. You know what I mean? Because now mom didn't want that uncle to spend the night. You know what I mean? Because he'd be stealing. He'd be, you know what I mean, whatever, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You just don't want that to be your reputation. You don't want to be known for being unfair and dishonest and trying to get over on people. So, you know, treat everybody with respect. You know what I mean?
Karma.
Oh, absolutely, karma. And it'd be crazy. The older I get, the more I believe in karma. Right?
Oh yeah, you get it in some shape, form, or fashion.
Wait, exactly. And then it just gives me that much more of an incentive to do the right thing. You know what I mean? And because with karma, it's important to distinguish. There's also good karma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's good karma and bad karma. So, and I'm a firm believer in the law of averages, which I've said a million times. But so yeah, I agree with that. Karma, very, very, very important. So just do the right thing, man. Do the right thing by people. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. And what's the impact, right? Your reputation can take years to develop and seconds to destroy. And I think we've seen that with what's his name? Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish, right? Look at all the work they did. With Aries, we've known about for a lot longer. He's been in the industry, professionally, right? Actually, Tiffany's been doing her thing for a little while, but we just didn't know what she was. But and now look at their reputation, tarnished over some bad decisions, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy when you look at it because you know what I mean? It doesn't look like they were trying to like make them really have sex and stuff like that, but it was just extremely inappropriate for children. Right. And then the way they, if the story is true, let me say this about how Tiffany Haddish lied about what the kid was going to be doing and auditioning for. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, again, take all this time to build your reputation and something very, I don't want to say small because that's not a small thing, but something very quickly can destroy it. You know what I mean?
Right. And we got there, the quick you fall down.
Yeah. The delivery was horrible. I hope she ain't talking about my delivery.
Nah.
Damn, cuz. No, I'm BS. But yeah, yeah, it was just crazy. And we've seen it time and time again, from Bill Cosby to, you know what I mean? Just so many celebrities and things over the years, right?
Many examples to point to, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. But moving on, right? Making repairs, right? So what are ways you can improve upon your reputation? I'm gonna just go and knock out the first three, say, unless you take the last three and close it out. Years to build, seconds to destroy reputation. Exactly. Tools to help improve your reputation, right? So make use of integrity. Doing what is right and fair should always be the first option, which I just touched on this and the importance of it, of just always doing the right thing, right? Regardless of how you feel, regardless of if you're in your emotions, like don't do things out of spite. You know what I mean? Just do the right thing. Just day in and day out, just do the right thing by people. Next up is make use of authenticity. Be yourself and leave no room for guessing where you stand. And I think this is important to kind of point back to the point you said about growing and, you know, changing and not necessarily doing the same things that you used to do with your homeboys. You can still be authentic to yourself, but change and grow and become a better person, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, you still my boy, right? Just, I'm not in them streets no more, right? Like, I ain't got time to be running around with you all the time. But, like, when it's your birthday, I'm going to hit you. We going to kick it. We going to chill.
For sure.
You know, like, I am who I am. I come from what I come from. But, like, I'm just not about to, I don't do this no more. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And that's not, that you can still be true to yourself and authentic. Would you agree that your reputation has to do with how trustworthy you are? Yeah, absolutely. That's a part of your reputation for sure. And I think that kind of touches on the last point I said about being unfair or dishonest, and then also coming down to accountability, right? Like just like being able to like admit when you're wrong, right? Because I look at that as a form of being trustworthy. You know what I mean? And you can't like, which maybe I'm off there, but I kind of look at that.
But you can also look at it from a relationship standpoint as well too. Like obviously we're both married, but if my spouse or my wife can't trust me, like what do we have to build on? You know what I'm saying? Like if time and time again I've done the same thing, repeated the same behaviors, made no changes, so I'm building a reputation of someone who's not trustworthy.
You build on a fractured foundation. We already know that
it's fall every time.
Exactly.
It's gonna fall every time, and there's nothing to build on. I don't have any legs to stand on because I've chopped them off every time I did something that I said I wasn't going to do, but I did anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so when you take it, even not from a spouse standpoint, but just from business relationships or friends, whatever the case may be, it's like, bro, I can't trust you to do nothing. Like you say you're going to do this, but as we said in the last slide, you're not a person of your word. So I can't take your word for what you're saying. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Super significant for sure.
And then the last one I'm gonna touch on is make use of respect. Treat others the way you would also like to be treated. And again, this goes into the integrity piece. This goes to just always doing the right thing and just being respectful, right? I consider to be myself a pretty respectful person, right? When I'm out and about in public, and I'm here, you go. Was said, I'd be kind of disrespectful a little bit, but now let me.
The truth comes out.
No, but for real though. But when I'm out and about and I'm dealing with strangers and I'm meeting people for the first time, like I'm always very respectful and open and open and welcoming and all those types of things, right? Now once you get to know me, I might kind of be closed off and really don't say too much. But you know that's me though. It ain't, and I'm not coming off no type of way. I'm just kind of a loner and stick to myself. But when I'm out, representing myself, right? And when I'm what they say, you form an opinion within the first 10 seconds or something like that of a person, you know what I mean? Like when I'm out there meeting people and giving off my first impressions, like I'm mindful of that and how I'm representing myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm presenting myself with respect. Like if I'm walking out the door and I see the lady close behind me with some bags, I'm gonna hold it for her, right? Or if I see the lady with kids come in, I'm gonna open the door and let them go ahead. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna just do those type of things. Or if I see somebody struggling and if I can help them, or you know what I mean? Those type of situations. I'm always trying to, you know what I mean? I'm not going out actively looking for those situations, but if they present themselves in front of me, I'm gonna help.
You know what to do. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna let you take the last two, said, and then
all right. So last two. So make use of openness. Be receptive to ideas that are not just yours. Right. And so if you want to build a better reputation, always be open to hearing.
Which is being collaborative. Like
collaborative. Yeah. That's the perfect word to use for it. Right. Like find yourself in situations where you can allow people to sow into you, or you can allow people to add value to you. You know what I'm saying? That builds your reputation, because now it gets to a point where it's like, we can have a conversation. We can collectively agree on something. And it doesn't always have to be based on your opinion. It doesn't always have to be based on your thoughts and your way of doing certain things. You're open to hearing new things and new perspectives and trying new things. Like, you don't have to dictate everything. No one likes to be dictated to. Like, no one likes to be in a situation where it's like, it's my way. This is how we're going to do this. And your opinion really doesn't matter to me right now. So it's either this or we ain't doing nothing. And that's definitely not a way to build solid relationships. And that's definitely not a way to be. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good space to be in, where you're viewed as the person who's like a dictator. Like, he never listens to anybody. So like, you talking to him is not going to help anything, or he never offers any type of assistance if it's not done the way that he wants it to be done, right? You know, and that never works out in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Especially
it's going to hinder your growth because the reality is,
you know
none of us knows everything.
Right. If you come off as a know-it-all, it's like, okay, I feel like when you come off as a know-it-all, you know nothing, right? Because your thought process is limited. Because the only thing you see is what you think, right? Because you close off everything else and everybody else. So the changes that you could benefit from, you can't, because you're so blinded by your own ego and your own reality that you live in, right? Exactly. So you know nothing. At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you think you do, but you really don't. You know what I mean? So
being, 1,000%.
Being open is big.
And going back to what was I can't remember the title of that book. The like old school joint. Damn. But where it talked about the brain groups, right? And like the energy of having multiple people, you know, collaborating on an idea. You know what I'm saying? And the power of that, as opposed to trying to go at things alone, right? And not being open to, you know, other ideas and opinions. You know what I'm saying? It's I can't remember the book. I'm drawing a blank.
It's a book you read?
Yeah. You know what book I'm talking about.
Think and Grow Rich?
Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, where he talked about where he talked about the mastermind groups, right? And about the, you know, connecting and several brains working towards the same idea, right? That are all working towards a similar purpose. If you cut that out, right, and you think you know it all, and you know, can't nobody tell you shit, then you hurting yourself. You know what I mean? That's who you hurting in that situation.
There's innovative ideas that can come out of collectively agreeing and coming to a mutual, you know what I'm saying, bond on whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. Yeah, so you miss out when you think like that. And then the last one is make use of principles. Have a foundation to stand on and standards to live by. And I think that's really self-explanatory. You know what I'm saying? A foundation that you want to stand on and the standards to live by, right? You want to build your reputation. You want to make certain that you're representing yourself in the best way possible, that you're leaving a lasting impression on the people that you come into contact with, that you're making an impact, that you're being an influence, that you're living a life of service, all of these things. You know what I'm saying? That you're leaving a legacy and living a legacy, as one of the episodes that we had in some weeks back. You know what I'm saying? You definitely want to make certain that you're doing things with good principles, right? Because your principles go a long way. Like, those are the things that sustain you as you progress in life and as you move forward in life. You know, those are the things that are like the core of who you are and what you become. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things that people remember about you, and then the way that you make them feel in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So if you're always standing on your principles and who you are and what you desire to be, I feel like that will really sustain your relationship and just give you that opportunity to grow and to become really the best version of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And man, and have compassion, have empathy, right? And really like ask yourself, like, you know, how do I make people feel? You know what I mean? Do I empower people? Do I motivate people?
And we
do
need
I
that,
encourage
man.
People?
Need
you know
that,
what I mean?
Bro.
Or am I negative? Am I always gossiping? Am I always, you know, got an attitude?
Being a Debbie Downer,
Like,
being pessimistic, and
Exactly. Like, but really
discourage
ask yourself, like, how do I make people feel? Are people happy when I'm calling? Do they want to pick up the phone and talk to me, right? Or is it, damn, like, I ain't in the
I
mood
don't
right
want to
now?
talk
You
right
know
now.
what I mean?
I'm
I don't
I'm
want to
I'm gonna
talk to.
call them back later.
Yeah, right. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, but really ask yourself that and be mindful of that. And if you are self-aware, right, then you
yeah,
can be honest with yourself. And if you don't like that answer, then correct it.
got
You know
correct.
what I'm saying? And now it may take some time, but any progress is better than the setback. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And no better time to start than right now. You know
like
what
you
I'm saying?
say, slow progress is better than no progress. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
You gotta be aware and that just goes into emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? With self-awareness, being aware of self and being comfortable with correcting yourself. You know what I'm saying? That goes into accountability. It's like, you know what? This don't feel good. And so let's say it makes me feel good when same here. Like
Yeah,
I
and that's something I didn't learn about myself until I got a little older, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't realize how much I enjoy helping others and like seeing them win. You know what I mean? Like and doing it for just that reason. You know what I mean? Like I want to see them win. I want to see them happy. I want to see them, you know what I mean, excelling in, you know what I mean, whatever the situation is.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I feel the same way.
But that goes to the same way we say, learn everything you can, share everything that you know. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff that you learn, you know, it's always about sharing it with other people and allowing your experiences to add value to someone else. You know what I'm saying? Being beneficial in that aspect to where everything that you went through and everything that you got through, you can share that with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Based off the reputation that you built and what you've established, people are going to listen to you, right? It's like, you know, I know this individual has built a reputation of being someone who's knowledgeable in this area or are very well versed in doing whatever, or being this type of way. So the information that I'm getting from this person is valid. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a good place. And so this can work for me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's highly beneficial, right? And so close it out, man. We go to a final thought, right? So mistakes are made repeatedly when reputation isn't given the most appropriate attention. There is a common feeling to not care what people think or feel about you, but you should be an influencer for the impression that you want to make, right? So you want to influence the impression that you want to make. You want to be certain that whatever you're doing, you're influencing it in a positive way. That way, the perception that other people may have of you is something that you can really be confident in and be proud about as well, too.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously, and the reality is we have an impact, a huge impact on our reputation, but at the end of the day, it's up to the other person to make that final determination. And
Absolutely.
you want to make sure that everything they have to make that determination is positive,
Yeah.
right? Um, and within what you stand for and represent. And that kind of
It.
summarizes that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So as always, man, we got some recommendations in the kit. 17 ways to build a reputation and building your reputation. As always, all of the kits are available if you click the link in the bio. It'll link you back to all 40 episodes before this one. 41 kits up there now. And then all of our episodes are on the Instagram page. As always, man, we greatly appreciate y'all. We came to y'all on this Friday instead of Thursday because your boy was out of commission for a couple of days, was sick. Thought I got the vid again, but it was, I think, it probably like a little low grade flu or something because it was kind of bad, but not as bad as the vid. But hey, we appreciate y'all
The
greatly.
vid.
Everybody who tuned in live. You said what's that?
The vid. You gave it a nickname.
The vid.
I
Hey,
didn't have the vid this time.
I ain't had a vid
I
this
ain't
time.
had the vid. I got rid of the vid. The vid didn't get me.
I was able to stiff arm the vid this time, which hopefully I don't never get that shit again. But but until next time, man, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough and we'll
Keep
holler
it
at you.
roll.
Deuces.
Peace.